Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of We Love Rare Grooves.
Hey!
I'm your host tonight, Shantini Ari.
Yes, she is.
Hey, yes, she is. Hey!
Hey.
Sexy mama.
As you can tell, our host, Mr. Clifton Semos, is not with us tonight. He is back home
You guys are bad.
in Pittsburgh on the Hill,
With his mama.
where they never have a dollar bill.
That's where I'm from.
Well, once in a lifetime we have, every now and then we get someone from Pittsburgh that comes in, and the one night that he wouldn't be here, she's here.
Oh.
Homie.
But the crew is all here, and of course, we can never do this without all of us. So first, giving a shout out to the world famous DJ DeVoe.
Good evening.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited about our guest. Been playing their music for years. I need to write her a check, but
There we
got
go
my damn
again,
check.
man.
I can't
And
find my
I will
checkbook.
take it.
Yes.
Make sure there's plenty of zeros and
Exactly.
the dot is in the right place.
Exactly.
Well, he'll be writing a check, but we don't know if it'll clear because he's written so many checks for so many other artists.
We both have.
yeah.
What he don't have, I have.
And of course, his sidekick,
Yes.
DJ Reg.
Hey, happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday.
Monday. How's it been going?
It's been going great. It's been going great. We're gonna have a good time without our C-Mo's in the building.
Do you have any surprises for us on the video department?
Absolutely. Without a
Love
doubt.
it. And of course, we miss our Greg, producer New York Sneed. He's not here tonight either.
Crickets.
Think he's counting money at the church again? Maybe,
Yes,
I
he
don't
is.
know.
He's in the meeting. In a meeting.
Bingo.
But we shout out and send love to him.
Yes.
And to my right, our consultant, the author, Robert A. Brown.
Yeah.
Robert.
Robert.
Robert,
Absolutely.
are you excited? I know you have a lot of personal knowledge and history of this department.
Be loving me some Mary Jane girls, but overall, but specifically, Maxi Bond. Yeah, putting a little of that vanilla flavor in that soul stew. And so we are excited about having her tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to
That-
be on
It is.
tonight.
There's nothing like a night of champagne and collard greens.
There you
I just
yeah.
had mine.
There you go. There you go.
Well, without further ado, we are really excited to welcome in studio our guest that we have tonight. This is a very interesting, different guest. So we are all excited for the listeners to hear who she is. This is Maxi Bond. She is the leather queen of the original Mary Jane Girl.
Hey.
Uh-oh, they got excited about that
Oh,
one.
A
absolutely.
little spanking might be going on later on, but you know.
Whips and chains,
I'm
whips
just
and
saying.
chains.
Hey.
But she also has a catering business that she's had for many years, and she is a caterer to the stars, the Jacksons. She also got her big break catering for Eddie Griffin, the comedian, when they
Hey.
had the show Malcolm and Eddie.
Yes, that was just some of them. Well, I don't specifically cater to the Jacksons.
Right.
I have catered to them one time, but
Oh,
Lenny
once.
Kravitz to the Jacksons have eaten my food, and I have. If they've had the opportunity to hit their palates with it, but Lou Nail, Michael Collier, Sinbad, Johnny Gill. I mean, the whole list goes on. I mean, many people have had the opportunity to taste my culinary delights.
Well, Jacksons have never eaten my food, so I think that's a great accomplishment on your
Well, the
part.
nice thing about it was that was in their backyard, and they had these servants with the big sterling silver chasing. I didn't have to spoon out anything. It was wonderful.
That's amazing.
I heard that.
But as most of you will know her, she is the original member of the Mary Jane Girls. And so without further ado, you've heard a little bit of her on the side talking, but we want to officially welcome to We Love Rare Groove Studio, Miss Maxi Bond.
Hey.
Yabba dabba doo.
Hey, Maxi.
How you doing, Maxi?
I'm doing great. Hey, God gave me another day, and I intend to do something good with it, and that's why I'm here today.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So as we always start out with on this show, where did it start for you? Did you come out of the womb doing music? Where did it all start for you?
Well, I've always, I've always loved the Motown sound as a kid,
Right.
And I grew up in that period. Now I'm 59 this week. So I was born in 59. So it was that period where, Jeff Sessions is trying to take us back to the 60s. When, black and white people really still were just starting to get along. But I always... I went to high school with a integrated school. I never had any problems with people, but I was always a lover of the Motown music. I remember like one of my biggest things was watching the Ed Sullivan Show on Sundays, like waiting for the Supremes to come on, or like the top black act. You know what I'm saying? And if I misbehaved, I wasn't allowed to watch it. That was my thing. So I was like an angel all week, So I can and even if I was punished, my ear went all the way down from my bedroom, all the way down to the to the TV set, and I would just still mentally. But I always wanted to be in a girl group, and I always wanted to be a singer and a dancer. And I grew up very poor in the projects, white projects. I grew up near where the first Negro baseball team was from, the Homestead Grays. And,
wow. Okay.
And George Benson lived there, Phyllis Hyman, Mr. Rogers lived up the street. But it was Munhall Homestead and West Homestead, and they became Steel Valley by the time I went to high school.
Is that near the hill?
Well, the hill's on the other side, and that was the really rough end of the neighborhood there.
Wow.
You didn't want to go. Even black people didn't want to go to the hill because you get stabbed. I mean, at the time back in the day, it was.
So that's
Should
what
be
happened.
more
to
scared of
Clifton.
Clifton.
That's
than-
what I said.
But that
You
was
never told us about that.
That was the rougher end of Pittsburgh. But a lot of greats have come out of Pittsburgh. I grew up with people like Danny Marino and Tony Dorsett and great athletes, and but I always aspired to be a singer and a dancer. And I noticed when I was a little girl, like my mom would say, I lost all my friends because I'd have the girls over for card night, and you'd bring down your little box, your record player, and I'd run chubby checker, and I'd do the twist so much for everybody that my mom was like, okay, it's enough. But I always had this natural rhythm to my dancing, and we'd have this thing in the projects that was like a rec center, and we would always have dances, and I would always dance, and people would come around me because I'd have all the rhythm. They'd play all these Motown songs, and I would be doing, my Michael Jackson moves and the stylistics moves and all of this, and they're like, you got something there, girl. So I just started elaborating on it, and I didn't have money. I always wanted to take dance lessons, and that my mom was like, we don't have the money. I'm like, well, that's not going to stop me.
There you go.
So we had a little backyard, and I had a screen door and had the mirror, and that was my mirror. Was with the glass in my screen door, and I went out there and I was doing my choreography. I was making up my own choreography and doing smiling faces and all these, trying to be the boy groups and the Temps and the Marvelettes and all these different groups, And then Diana Ross came along, and it was like, touch me in the morning, honey, So the Supremes really gave me that giddy up to, one day I want to be in a girl group, and it really happened. And it came late. I just kept doing what I was doing in Pittsburgh, and
So did you start? Where do you?
Yeah.
Were you an only child?
no, I had a sister.
Did your sister do music stuff too?
No, not at all. No.
So you had no formal training.
No formal training. I'm a self-taught performer. I took my first dance class at 31 years old. after the Mary Jane Girls. I never took dance classes.
Wow.
And I taught myself how to twirl baton, and I was offered a scholarship for Pitt and Penn State to twirl. And actually, when I auditioned for in my high school, I was in 9th grade. They wanted to make me captain for the 12th for the seniors because I was so good at it. And the nice thing about it, one of our coaches was a former Radio City Rockette. So sometimes we would put on, I learned maneuvers and staging then, like from 5-yard marching and then doing routines and, all of that. And then we would put the baton down, we would do dance numbers, the kicks and do things like the cheerleaders do. And that was really fun for me. And then I went into modeling. I became a model for Kaufman's Gimbals and Horns.
Well, let's back up a step. What we're really talking about is your musical roots. Okay, so you're telling us you didn't have any formal training.
No formal training at all.
So when you were in high school, you part of a group? Were you?
No, I wasn't in a group, but I liked choir. I loved one of our Mr. Caruso. He was a music teacher, and he actually taught opera and things. And he thought I had a good voice, and the other teachers thought I had good movement and things like that. But I never did anything like that in high school. It was after high school.
Well, but let's just stay with that for a minute. What we're trying to do is get back to your musical roots, okay? So then did you sing in high school?
I sang in high school in the choir.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And always sang at home. I mean, I would put my homework to the side and get in front of the mirror in my mother's dresser and just turn on the radio. And that's what I tell young artists today. Practice, listen to the radio, every station. My mother was very diverse in her music. She listened to country. My father liked Creedence Clearwater. I liked Motown. So and Pittsburgh is a melting pot.
That it is.
A very, very diverse city with people from Ireland and Poland and Israel and black and white. And so we had WAMO. If you ever heard of WAMO radio,
also known as
everybody,
WAMO.
one of the best radio stations in the nation, played everything. I mean, and that was my radio station. And hello to everybody from WAMO if you're still around. But that was my thing. I would practice in the mirror all the time.
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to break this up in sections. And so we really get your first part, and then we're going to go through each part of your life. So we're not going to fast forward.
That's a long time.
Well, we got 90 minutes.
We're going to get it all
I'm
in.
almost 90, so no.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get into some of the music that you did with Rick James, some of the classics that you can't hear anywhere else. And when we come back, we are going to get more into Miss Maxi Bond and what happened after you left Pittsburgh in high school and that sort of thing.
Great.
Okay, so can you take me away, DJ DeVoe?
And now you know.
Give me something I can put in the back. Show you right. Are you gonna prove stupid jerk. Reading the funny, spending all the money, and then at night he wants some sugar honey. Talking that trash about his fantasies and all the nice things he gonna do for me. I don't need that rap, you silly sap. Just give me some money, honey. I need something I can hold on to. I need someone I can really trust. I need something I can put in the bank. I need something a little more than lust. I need more than just conversation for you to cool out my situation. If you really want me in your lap, you got to give me some money, sap.
How you gonna prove it? How you gonna prove it? How you gonna prove it tonight?
city citizens smoking more and enjoying it. Get on this. Sing! A strong city. Everybody sing. A strong city.
My name's Dave Patterson. I'm a Seattle area videographer. I've been working with Beverly Boy Productions for over 2 years, and I can say they are great to work with. They've always provided me with the information I need so that when I show up on set, I can shoot exactly what's necessary to tell the story the client is trying to tell. Call sheets that include the who, what, why, where, when of the video shoot, production notes, gear requirements, crew requirements, load-in time, all that. Makes my job a lot easier, and ultimately it produces the results that the client's going to be happy with. This is what a professional company like Beverly Boy Productions does, and also it's one of the reasons why I really enjoy working with them. It's a bit of a family vibe. They're very low-key, low pressure, but they're very professional at the same time, and they get the results, and that's ultimately what matters most. I'm proud to be a shooter for Beverly Boy Productions, and if you're looking for a company to produce your next video production, by all means, give them a call. They can handle any sort of scale project, from a single person interview to a large production with multiple cameras and large crews. You won't be disappointed with the results. Give them a call.
Yes, and that was just Beverly Boyd Productions. For all of your video production needs, call Kale Beverly. We have 800-258-1243. 800.
Try that again.
358. 800-358-1243.
Sounds good.
And call Beverly Boyd Production for all of your video production needs. Also, we are also sponsored and always are able to stay with you guys every Monday night by Wings Limousine, where you
Ride like a star.
And by Sonny Jones,
Sonny!
your neighborhood realtor, and by Sweet Events. And we are very happy to be back with Maxi Bond of the Mary Jane Girls.
Hey.
And we had some interesting 80s music. I always love the 80s because that's my era.
Oh.
And so we wanted to talk about some of the songs that we played, when we first came out. One of them you said was in 1984, 1983, I believe.
Yeah, I got in the group, I think, between 81 and 82. So it goes a little while back, about 35 years now, actually.
So that was Prove It.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about Prove It. Were you singing on that one?
No, not on that one. A lot of the records I didn't sing on, and I have to admit, because when I got there for my audition, which we can go through later, Rick saw me dance and he said, "Did you say you were black or white?" And I said, "I didn't." And he said, "Everybody out of the room," and he pulled up this big sketch with all the girls and everything. And then I asked him, I said, honestly, I said, when are you going to hear me sing? And he was like, his response was, "Honey, I got enough bitches in here to think they Patti LaBelle. Just do what you do and cross this group over. Do that Michael Jackson, Tina Turner thing and cross this group over, and that's your job." And I was okay. And then we did Boys. I was on Boys, and then they gave me Leather Queen. And that when I actually got to the group, they were on the fourth record.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so they were
what-
already on the
what
fourth
was-
record. I was the last one chosen for the group.
So Boys was the first one that you were on?
Actually on, yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So now I guess we can go into after you graduated high school in Pittsburgh.
Right.
What was life like musically for you then? Where did you go next? Where did
Well,
life
like I
take
said, I
you
did
next?
sing in choir in school and that, and
And you
when
hooped, and you hooped.
I hooped,
That's
yeah. I
nice.
was just-
Everybody know
We
you.
didn't tell the audience that
Yeah.
she hooped. She was
Yeah,
a forward.
I was a
Forward.
forward at Still Valley High School, 1977 class. And I was telling them, if you ever watch Law and Order,
Right.
the other forward on my team was my girlfriend Tamara Tooney.
Hey,
we went to
okay.
school
Miss
together.
Tooney.
She was the other forward, and she was one person who always encouraged me with my talent as well. Her and Michelle and Donna Jenkins, all these girls, and we would go to the high school dances, which my mom sometimes would come in with a flashlight so I wasn't dancing with a boy. 'Cause my mom, I had a helicopter mom, like a really strict mother, so I'd like in church on Sunday, was allowed to roller skate on Saturday, clean house the rest of the week, and that's why I stayed in the
As
house.
you
I worked
should.
on my craft,
Yeah.
I think my mom was afraid to let me out there in the world, but I had to leave at some point.
Because she thought she might join the Mary Jane Girls.
Well, my
Or she
mom
thought she might be selling Mary Jane cookies.
Hey.
Well, I was the one that was called the redneck in high school because I didn't smoke weed, I didn't drink. I didn't have my first drink till 21 with my father. I was a church-going girl. Catechism on Saturdays, and my mother was strict. My mother would beat your ass, okay? My mother would beat your living tail, okay?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
You think black women get a beat down? My mother will beat you down. I told you not to. Okay? I was literally one time out the project with her, "Help, she's murdering me." She said, she came out the window and said, "All right, like I got your butt."
That's right.
So when you left, high school. Obviously, you didn't want to pursue basketball into collegiate.
No, and I had I was offered actually a scholarship for Penn State, but I really wasn't into the book thing. I was like trying to get to Hollywood, and I started modeling, and I was a model for Kaufman Gimbals and Horns, and I was a Pantene model, and did catalog modeling for Sears and J.C. Penney's and that type of thing. And then one year the Pittsburgh Steelers had cheerleaders. The only one year they had them, I auditioned and I made the team.
Wow.
So I I was that. But Pittsburgh never really needed them. See, they were created for Dallas because they couldn't fill the stands.
Right.
So they thought, we'll put some sexy girls out there and we'll sell tickets. That was back in the day.
Right.
But Pittsburgh didn't need that. So we had them 1 year and that was it. So then I actually left Pittsburgh with $50 in a dream and I came here. And 10 weeks later, I landed in the Mary Jane Girls.
Wow. So how
Nice.
how did that, when you got here with $50 in a dream, how on earth did you run into Rick James? How
I
did
didn't
that
run
happen?
into him at all.
Rick
I
James.
actually had bartending experience, and I was a bartender at Pitt and Penn State, in those areas, and even over in Braddock. I was running a supper club, and with entertainment come in, Phyllis Hyman, we booked different acts to come in and sing, and I was a bartender there. So I had bartending experiences, and an old friend and his wife from the Rams brought me here from Pittsburgh, and I stayed with his mother out there on Crenshaw, and we looked for a job for me, and I ended up finding a bartending job with a Korean woman who owned this little go-go lounge in Hollywood, and not a strip club.
Go.
I've heard
The
Joanne.
go-go.
It's okay. We won't judge you.
No, I've heard JoJo from my own singing group belittle me and say, though, Rick discovered me in a strip club. No, Rick never walked into a strip club and said, hey, I want the girl with the pink nipples to be in this group. It never happened.
That's right.
Never happened. Okay, let's
Okay.
get that
Tell
clear.
it, Max.
Tell it,
Tell it,
tell
girl.
it, tell
Tell
it.
it.
Okay, let's get that clear, people.
Exactly.
I would never
But
shame
Jane-
my mother. In fact, when I got here, Playboy was after me. I've got asked 3 and 4 times to do Playboy. Offered $10,000 in the 80s, and I couldn't shame my mother and pose nude like that. I just couldn't do it.
That's right.
So
you were in
That
the
was a lot of
Korean.
money
I
back
ended
then.
up half dressed singing and dancing for the Mary Jane Girls.
Nah.
So you were
Okay,
at the
so can-
Korean restaurant.
I'm at the Korean restaurant, and Candy was one of the go-go dancers, and it wasn't a strip club. They were one-piece bathing suits.
Well, we know it wasn't a strip club, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it
I
was
mean,
the
like,
go-go.
I'm not even gonna belittle her. I mean,
Right.
it just
Right.
it wasn't
Just
that-
go-go girls. We
It
know.
was and
Yeah.
it was basically kind of bar where you sit down and you chat with a guy and no hands, and you buy drinks. It was about making money for the bar,
Right.
and I was making the bar a lot of money, $2,000. I had the pimps on the corner talking about, yeah, I could be driving a nice Cadillac, and I said, honey, I'm a Mercedes girl. I don't know about you, but but I didn't play that because I saw those things in my neighborhood, and that wasn't for me. I could have done that in Pittsburgh,
Right,
it
right,
just
right.
wasn't
okay,
me.
so when did the break come?
So the break came when one day Candy didn't come to work, and I wondered what happened to her. And then one day we went dancing out at the Marriott. She came back and said, let's go out one night. So do you remember when the radio station here, was it KGLH, used to do like the Thursday nights at the Marriott?
Yeah.
And,
Remember that, Reggie?
We,
No. Do you remember that? No, but go ahead.
early
Was it,
80s.
or was it KGFJ?
No, you said early 80s. It had to be.
I think it was
KGL.
KGLH,
It
yeah.
had
And
to
they
be
would, they
KGLH.
would do these things at the Marriott by the airport.
Sure.
And Candy and I went out for drinks that night, and I started dancing, and she said, all everyone started coming around me. I was doing the Wilma and the Robot and all these dances of the 80s, and
Right.
she said, my God, you're like 10 N-words in one. I'm like, I'm not gonna say the word because I'm white. But
Yeah.
she said, oh my God, you dance like 10 in one. She said, oh my God, I got to tell Rick about you, because she was already she had gotten picked for the group. And where have you
Right.
been, girl? She said, oh, I just got auditioned for this. Smokey Robinson was her friend, and told Rick about her. And she was a songwriter with another group, Soft Touch at the time. And she told Rick about me.
Right.
And I actually had pictures from my modeling thing, and she sent it over to Rick. And he's like, she's really skinny. I need a thicker girl. And I had another picture of when I was a little heavier, and I said, send that one in. So she told Rick about me, but nothing really happened. And then I was sent to see Rick's brother, Leroy Johnson, who ran Mary Jane Productions. He was a lawyer. And I met him at the Beverly Comstock Hotel. We had one meeting, and then it was a waiting game. And then I had another one, and it was a waiting game. And then on my third one, he said, okay, I'm going to take you. But I didn't have many clothes. I came with $50 in a dream, and I only had like one pair of shoes, a pair of white pumps. And I bought a swing coat at the vintage store for $20. And I had like a pair of jeans. So he took me to Fred Siegel's store, and he bought me 2 outfits and
Fred
some shoes.
Still there, too. Fred
Yes,
Siegel.
yes,
Is
yes.
it
The
still
original
there?
one is still there.
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Melrose.
Melrose.
That's
Yeah.
a classic
Yes.
landmark.
Yes. All the stars shopped there for one of a kind items. It was very high priced though. But he took me there, and then we went on Rick's private jet to Sausalito, where they were already recording the album. And
Now, did you know who Rick was at the time?
oh, of course I knew Rick,
So you knew
because
what-
when I was bartending at Pitt, I was friends with Hugh Green,
Okay.
football player Hugh Green. He took me to my first concert that I've ever been to, and that was a Rick James Tina Marie concert. And it's funny
okay.
because when I was coming out of the building, Rick was there with his, wing jacket on with his logo and everything, and he flipped his braids around and he looked at me and I looked at him and I said, he kind of gave me a funny look like, I was like, but I'm going to work for you one day. And he like brushed it off like it was nothing. And I reminded him later when I came in, I just knew in my spirit that I was going to be somehow in that, in R&B music or something, because that's where my spirit. I'm a blue-eyed soul girl so I just have soul.
There you
in me.
go.
I always had it, from day one.
All right,
And
so you're in the Rick James, you're in the group.
so,
Okay.
no, when I get to the studio, there's a red light on. I don't even know what that is. Okay, they're recording, so you have to be quiet. And I go in the room, and Joanne's and JoJo's in there, and Sherry was there, and Candy. When I knew Candy, so I sat by her, and then they started passing around a joint and everything, smoking. They were like, I'm like, was it cool to smoke? I'm like, girl, it's a way of life around here. So, I hit the joint a little bit and felt really good. And they had finished, they were working on the Candyman song. And then all of a sudden, Fly, who was the engineer, he said, oh, take it downtown and slave it. Because they didn't have 65, we did 65 tracks, but it wasn't like today, like you can just pop up a computer. Everything was recorded live. You had to go and split the tape, bring it back, and split it again, and put it, just keep doing it over and over. And then I heard and that voice track, and I stood up and I just started doing the nasty. The nasty is a dance that I came up with from Pittsburgh that I brought. And it was just my gyration of the hips. It later became Paula Abdul's choreography to Janet Jackson, which became a song. But I started gyrating.
They stole all your moves.
They stole your moves?
Stole all your moves. Somebody was watching.
They're always watching Maxi B, honey.
That's right.
So I did it, and I started gyrating my hips, and Rick said, first of all, he didn't say anything to me when I came in for almost an hour. He didn't even look my way until I did that. And he said, did you say you were black or white? And I said, I didn't. And he's like, everybody out of the room and have a seat, young lady. And I sat there and he went through this whole spiel. He had the big sketch, like very professional. Don't think Rick was not a professional man. This was not, something he just put some crap together. He really knew what he was doing. I mean, he literally had you go to a marketing meeting, and you're doing the presentation. Well, he had the big sketches of the girls. Each girl was named. He had the look down, the sound. Everything that he heard was emulated through the music. And he had the whole concept. We can't take claim to nothing. We were just the puppets, the emulators, okay? So,
except for the nasty. That was you.
That was me. And then he started doing it on tour. He started doing,
So what we're going to do is we're going to go into some more music. This story gets interesting and more interesting by the second. I can't wait to hear the rest of this when you actually get into the group. But we're going to go into, it looks like you have a new single out.
Yeah,
Shine.
It's been out there a while, and I wrote it for, I have, a big following in the gay community, and I have many friends. I'm an activist for AIDS. I'm,
And I think that we have a video of your new single.
Yeah, and it's about coming out, and when people get in your way, try to tarnish your shine, just turn on your lights and blind their butts.
That's right.
There you go. That's right.
That's one introduction. So this is your new single, Shine, by Maxi B.
Oh, thank you.
And we'll be back.
kissing my baby. Bong, ba, bong. Baby. Bong, ba, bong.
Do-rags, it's time to stomp and shout.
It's quite a thing, being on a party scene. Spending time in discos to find your dream man come true. But have no fear, cause this is your lucky day, my dear. And I'm right here with you, you know.
To
Excuse me, take a few minutes to mellow out. Big Daddy Kane is on the mic and I'ma tell about a minimum length of rhymes with strength and power. So listen to the man of the hour. Flow and go to a slow tempo and you know, sing ho, swing low, then yo, the show will go on as I perform, transforming on stage like a Decepticon. But I'm not animated like a cartoon, I'm for real, shooting lyrics like a harpoon. Across the crowd, the listeners and spectators, so let's groove with the smooth operator. Just sound so smooth. Just sound so smooth.
I come for free time, baby. I come for free time, hit it! Kev touch himself to prove that he's a freak. I can't hold it back, the paint flowing over. Can't hold it back, I am the future. Touch it, why don't ya? 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 Hey girl, oh girl. Hey girl, I wanna rock your world.
Are you talking to me?
Hey girl, would you meet me at the waterbed tonight? I got a surprise for you. I wanna give it to you all night long. New York City, wanna give it to you all night long. Watashi wa Tokyo Ski. I'm the waterbed.
Hey boy, would you meet me on the roof tonight? I got a surprise for you.
Welcome to Wings Limousine, where we get it right on the first time and create the magic in your night. The owner of Wings Limousine, Deborah Leggins, established her company of solid principles, bring service with a smile and laughter.
I drive people around from girls' night out, weddings, airport pickups, quinceañeras, you name it, that's what I do.
She has received several awards from the Better Business Bureau, from the mayor's office, as well as the governor. She escorted several celebrities to red carpet events and has served as the official transportation company of the Sparks and the Clippers. Beyond Wings' fleet of luxury cars, Wings also has special party buses to Vegas or a more intimate ride using our one-of-a-kind Mercedes Sprinter. And if your company wants to brand their name on our vehicles, we also offer wrapping. Remember, just one. the name you can trust for superior service. Wings Limousine. Call now for reservations.
Can we find a way to finally make it right? Make the magic last for more than just one night. We can.
Well, and we are back. I guess David Ruffin's out for the day. We are back for some more music. That was Wings Limousine.
We're trying to harmonize. We went back to my note.
We're missing our sixth alto.
There you go.
You guys would have been in the studio for 2 days until you got that right with Rick, that's for sure.
And that was our sponsor.
And there was no auto-tune in the day, okay?
And that was our sponsors, Wings Limousine. You guys can download their app, and you don't need Uber or Lyft when you have Wings Limousine. They are one of our partners, and they've been supporting us for a little while now. Also, we want to give a shout out to our Facebook family who was listening. And we see we have some new listeners, Colleen and the crew. We live stream every Monday night with Facebook. You can also follow us on our Instagram and our Twitter, and we will have a website up pretty soon.
And we're on
Entertainment, and we are on iHeartRadio, and we have our own Spotify channel.
There you go.
So if you guys want to keep moving with the groove train,
there you go.
But that was we are back now with Miss Maxi Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
from
Maxi.
the Mary Jane Girls.
There you go.
And we've had some amazing music that we've been listening to.
Yes, it was.
So we are going to pick up with you where we left off once you joined the Mary Jane Girls and where everything went from there.
Well, it all actually went very fast from there. I met Rick. We went in the studio. They were on the 4th song already for the first album. The album was completed. Then we went into choreography with Miss Marla Blakey, who is from Boston, Mass. And we did 5 hours of choreography every day and 4 hours of vocals every day, 5 days a week. And then we did an 86-city tour where we caravanned with 13 bands.
Wow.
And that was 2 86-city tours we did.
Who were some of the bands?
Oh, well, first of all, let's go with the big guys who used to fight for the headlining spot all the time. It was Charlie Wilson and the Gap Band, George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic, and Rick and the Mary Jane Girls. And the Stone City Band, let's not forget them. And Process and the Do-Rags came out as well. And those three fought all the time who's going to headline. They'd pull the plug on each other, and your time's up. And, oh, man, it was something else. But there was also Atlantic Star, Midnight Star, the Barcades, Cameo,
OJs.
Lakeside, OJs. Yeah, because you were Budweiser Superfest, you and Al Heyman over there. I remember you. And oh my God, Patti LaBelle. Oh my goodness, it's so many of them. I mean, we went from city to city. The best part was when we could all gather for soundcheck suppers and sit down and eat, and everyone got to mingle. And that's where I learned how to, really learn my flavors from all over over the world. And that's I incorporated later into my cooking. But I never was afraid to ask questions, But what did you, girl? What is that you made?
So how was it for you there's no mistake that you are white. How was it for you singing along? No, you don't have to adjust your television. No.
Well, I honestly
But how was it for you joining into soul music? And at that time, there wasn't too many blue-eyed souls. I mean, we knew who they were. We knew
Tina, of course.
Right.
So, Tina was like my idol where I grew up. I was actually called Lady T in my neighborhood, and then other people call me Sunshine because I'm like, hey, Mr. Johnson, how are you today? Hey, I was that girl, and I always was enlightening people. So I feel God made me a light in the world, and I want to shine, and that's why I wrote Shine. But, going back to... It was difficult in a way, but then it wasn't, because the one reason Rick did like me, other than my talent and the fact that he was looking for white girls, is that I was cool. I was that cool white girl. Even in high school, I was that cool white girl. The white people call me nigga lover, the N-word lover and all that. And I ain't sweating, y'all. I like you too, okay?
Right.
But somehow black people really loved me in school, and they clung to me, and I loved their spirit, and they loved me, and I never had a problem with people, period. I love all people, all cultures. And I tell people, white, black, get out there and meet another culture. Eat the food, go to their church, hang out, play cards, do what you do, but learn a little bit about other people so we can be a little more tolerant. But I do feel that I had to work harder than anybody in the group because I was white. I literally, they would look at me. First time I got on Soul Train, they went and introduced the girls. I got booed. And I turned around and I said, okay, let me put up Lord Jesus, let me show them. And I turned around. When I put my hand up, they knew I was a Christian because I was asking for God's blessing. And I turned around and I hit that. And by the time I finished, I would get the more cheers because I had to prove myself. Now we know why she there. She got all that rhythm. She's moving like, grooving like that.
Right.
So, and I clean moves. Everyone says I had clean moves. And even Michael Jackson complimented me at the American Museum. I really like your outfit. You got some real fancy footwork. So when Michael Jackson said I was the shit as far as I was concerned.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So I just took from that and I started building on that. But I literally would come off the stage after doing a performance and I would hear the black people outside the bus trying to get an autograph. And there'd be a lot of them. And they'd be like, I think she Creole. She ain't no white girl. She Creole. And people would literally like put me, her skin and her lips is a little thick. And I mean, they would really analyze me because they were just not sure if I was white or Creole.
Right.
And I'm straight out white girl. My mother's from Yugoslavia, Serbia, Croatia. My father's was from Hungary. So
Eastern European.
Eastern European. So that's who I am. But I'm a Berg girl. I'm from the Berg, honey.
There it is.
I'm from Pittsburgh all the way.
So did you have a mentor or anyone that guided you through your career that you would say from start to finish, this person has always been someone that you could lean on and rock with you?
As far as a mentor, well, my mom was, would encourage me, but then again, it would be like, well, you're never going to make it because we don't have the money to push you and this and that. But that never stopped me. I would drive and I still drive today. I still don't have the money I should have got from the Mary Jane Girls, and I'm still making strides in life. And I'm,
as you should.
And I always tell women, even if you have a day job, turn your passion into profit. There's
That's
other
right.
things that we can do. And I'm kind of glad after a while I got shut out of my group and I learned to do other things. You know what I'm saying? So I wear many hats. I can make money doing many things. But I would say Rick James really was my first real mentor in the music industry.
Yes.
And for some reason, he would always have me sit next to him every day. And I don't know, he just didn't want me to meet other people. I mean, I wasn't allowed to take business cards to nobody. He kind of was, crazy about me in a way. And he just didn't want me to stray. He just, and I learned later, I'm your meal ticket, baby. I'm the one selling this group right now, So, I say he was my main mentor, and I learned. I have sat there every day and I absorbed. So now I can do artist development, and I did that for years. I can write, I can produce vocals, I can sing my own stuff, write my own stuff, and I can mentor other. Even my son is a 22-year-old producer, and sometimes he doesn't like that. And he's born on Rick's birthday, so you the same kind of personality, like get out. I'm doing my thing, Mom. Don't on this. Well, son. And I tried to introduce old school music to him to sample at one point, and then he didn't want to hear. And then 2 years later, he comes back, hey, Mom, what are these? And I would give him all the old school songs and like a list of them. And here's all my old CDs, son, and old music albums. And well, he's amazing now. He's an amazing, amazing musician.
So when did you had about a 3 or 4 year run?
I would say a good 5 years between the hiatuses in between, because then there
Gotcha.
was the times when Rick had the drug addiction and we sat at the house next door. He actually rented a house next door to his where we stayed, and and we got paid a little $350 per diem a week. And we still had to pay rent. I think Candy and we shared an apartment at the time, and we literally were only in our apartment in Inglewood for possibly 3 weeks out of the entire year for 4 or 5 years. So it was like a storage unit for us. But we sat in the house.
Before Diddy's making the band.
Yes, exactly.
So,
exactly.
So at that particular point, when did you know the end? I mean, talk to us about the demise. I won't necessarily say the end.
Well,
because
it was
ended.
kind of a couple things. Rick's drug addiction started getting a little out of hand. And even in the early stages, Sherry started noticing some things. And actually, I remember being with Rick one evening and one morning, and Barry Gordy called. That's when Jealousy was coming out. JoJo was the main lead singer, but Sherry in the group was promised to be secondary lead singer. And Jealousy came out. It was really climbing the pop charts. And Barry called, hey, why don't you put the ugly duckling in the back and bring the pretty light-skinned girl up front? Like he can, maneuver the Supremes, and let's take this group all the way pop, Rick, and make this money. And and then I guess when he had to go back and tell JoJo that, she put her foot down. And that was kind of two things why Sherry left. One of that reason, and the drug issue that he had. Because Sherry doesn't like that environment. She come from Broadway in a very professional kind of environment. So, that the drug thing wasn't her. She's never consumed in her life. She doesn't drink. She's never done anything like that. So she's just not that girl. So then Corvette was brought in. So the game changed. But Rick's drug habits started getting a little bad. And then JoJo JoJo married some guy from Buffalo, and we were supposed to go on a European tour, and then it was like, it was MIA, so we didn't get the tour, and then she started running it. Well, I'm going to need another advance to stay in the group, and I'm going to need this to stay in the group, and all these little things, and she started trying to control and manipulate everything, and it just kind of just got so convoluted. And then Rick eventually went to jail, and then we tried to do it ourselves for a while, and then I was, JoJo's husband called me one day and said, well, JoJo wants to do her own thing. She doesn't want to deal with, work with you girls anymore. And it was like, okay. So then I was, had a baby with a record producer from MCA at the time, and we were living really nice, and we tried to do another album together with him, and it just didn't work out. And she went her way, and her and her husband went out there and said, I got all the girls, and went out here and lied to people. And then when she got there, well, just face it, JoJo was the Mary Jane Girls anyway, with some fake girls. And, so she was working, and he had his thing with her, and he, the Melba Moore type situation. He was managing her, and then we were all left. So I just decided, let me take some of my other talents then, and I started cooking and catering. And when Ron and I were together, Ron Spearman is his name, he did Jay Don't Walk Away in those records for MCA. Yeah, him and Vassell Benford were partners at the time. And so we had a really beautiful home in the hills, and it was a tri-level, and I had my own kitchen and everything, and a lot of the celebrities were coming in. One day the girls from Jade were coming in, and they're like, girl, what you trying to sing for? Girl, as good as you cook, shit, you put the B in the business. And then Malcolm Jamal Warner was my neighbor, and he would come over, and then Darius McQuarrie would all of a sudden jog every day coming up to the studio, and everyone was coming to eat my food and go in the studio, and Lenny Kravitz and all these people. So I was kind of filtering a lot of entertainers through that way. And then
so that's when you decided to start your
I started my own catering business because I had a baby, and I was one of those mothers, my mom was a Betty Crocker mom. She was home with me, and I kind of wanted to be at home with my kid. I didn't want to just shove him in daycare and saying have a latchkey kid. I wanted to be a hands-on mom.
So were you still while you were doing this, were you still pursuing your singing? Just say, let's get to the 90s.
Well,
were you doing a little singing?
I wasn't really doing the singing. I was just still trying to get my girls to come back together, and because I still, I was doing a little bit of performing, but then it just died. And then I was just left to be like the housewife and the mother, and I said, you know what, I'm going to take my other talents and turn it into a business, and that's what I did.
What do you feel you learned most from being with the Mary Jane Girls and Rick James? What do you think that experience taught you the most?
Well, girls can be a bitch, first of all. I mean, because every girl group, you always get that lead singer who's like, I'm holding the whole card or whatever. And that's why I said, if you girls get girl groups now, let everybody sing and share the mic, because you can't leave power to one person. Same with Kool and the Gang and these other groups. And, you can be replaced. We can all be replaced. So what I did learn was I learned girl bonding, and then I learned a lot about the music industry, and I learned that I could be a strong person, as sensitive as I was, and I was hurt, and I was hurt over a lot of things. I thought a lot of people loved me that didn't, and I thought a lot of people were my friends that weren't, and I learned that you can only please some of the people some of the time. So
you need to please mom. That's who you need to please.
Yeah, and I need to please God. That's who I need to please.
There you go. One other thing. So what advice today would you give the 22-year-old Maxi Bond?
Oh, wow. Get a good lawyer first.
Yeah.
Read your contracts.
Okay.
Put
business.
your blood, sweat, and tears in it. Yeah, it's what's called show business for a reason. So learn the business first. I try to give that to my son. It's like, just don't give a track out, because then it becomes a $3 million song for T.I. or somebody, and you're looking like, where's my money? Because sold a track for $150 a beat or something. Get your business right. So it's show business for a reason, and it could be a very cutthroat business, a very hard business to be in, and it ages you going on those tours and living out of a bus. And I've been from every fancy hotel, from the finest restaurants to the greasiest truck stops. And after the group is when I started cooking and like mending my body and healing of all the damage that I had done, the party scene and all of that. I just gave it all up,
So we're going to get back into some more music, but when we get back, we're going to talk all about your catering business and your culinary skills. And we're going to go into some more new great music. So DeVoe, whenever you're ready.
I miss him every day.
Wild called Sonny Jones. She can help you buy or sell your home, luxury or income property. Agent Sonny is the one that you wanna see. So when you need a home, call Sonny Jones. When you need a home, call Sonny. So when you need a home, call Sonny Jones. When you need a home, call Sonny. Agent Sonny Jones.
If you need a home, call Sonny Jones.
Sonny!
She is our resident neighborhood realtor for all of your real estate needs in the Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
And we are back with more of We Love Rare Grooves with Miss Maxi Bond.
Hey, Maxi.
Maxi.
Yes. And so, tell us about your, I think you're the first guest that we've had that is made a business of cooking. So tell us about your culinary skills and your business. What's the name of your business and what do you offer? Where can we find that at?
I started with the catering when my son was young, and then there was a period when I was cooking for a lot of the African American television shows, and then they called it the whitewash when they started taking out the budgets for those shows for food, and it started getting to pizzas and all of that
So
kind
you
of
did
thing.
craft services pretty much.
No, I didn't do craft
You
services.
didn't do craft
You can
services?
just buy peanuts and pretzels, and there's no art. There's no artwork to that. But I literally would cook, serve it, clean it up, everything myself. I worked very hard at that, and it just got to be a little too much. And one thing I would always do with my clients, and I also would come into celebrity homes, they would hire me privately to come in and cook for them. And I did Michael Collier's Christmas party and things like Judge Maybelline and people like that would come and eat. And then I would always thank my clients with these Southern pecan cookies that I make, right? So it started getting around, and then one day Jamie Foxx is like, girl, these motherfuckers is like, excuse my expression, but these are like crack girls. And then Lou Nail started calling them crack cookies, and I'm like, girl, you can make $1 pop on these. And I just waited till my son, he's 22 now, I waited till he was about 16. He was old enough that I could just let go of the purse strings and cut there, and I could go work on it a little bit more. So I started my baking business, a gourmet cookie line, and my business is called the Powder Puff Cookie Shop, because they looked like little powder puffs when they came out.
Did you bring samples?
I actually brought my Southern Lemon Drop cookie for you.
Okay. We'll
get to it later.
No. We'll get to it later, man. We ain't got a whole lot of time.
These were left after my Mother's Day orders. Somebody called me last night and said, can you bring some cookies? I said, honey, I did a show the other night. I was in rehearsals for 2 days. Did the show. I was exhausted, and then had to come right off the show Saturday and make Mother's Day orders. Then I had to do some the other day and get the shipping orders out, so I was just burnt toast. So this is what I have left, and I brought it for you guys today. I just didn't have the energy last night to bake.
So what does Maxi Bond, what is going on with Maxi Bond, the artist? What do you do now? What's new coming up? Are you performing anywhere?
Oh, actually, we just did a show with Zap and Lisa at the Novo, which used to be the Nokia Theater Friday night. And then we have 5 new shows being booked right now, and I think that I'm on a little hiatus right now because I have some other things in the works for June and July. But I'll be back in August for the Orange County Funk Fest. It is at the Honda Civic Center, and More Stay in the Time will be headlining there. And
now, are you going as Maxi Bond or the Mary
Oh,
Jane
no,
Girls?
I go with my group. It's Sherry and I, original Mary Jane Girls.
Okay. Right.
Maxi and Sherry. We don't have the name the Mary Jane Girls. That is another group. It's a one member from formerly of the Mary Jane Girls. But we have our group, and
what do they call it now?
It's the original Mary Jane Girls featuring Maxi and Sherry. Original Mary Jane Girls, Maxi and Sherry. It's the one in the polka dot dress, the black Italian girl. That's Sherry. She and I from the Boys video. So we have our own version of the group, and we replaced JoJo and we replaced Candy because Candy's in another version. So, and we've been working and really trying to keep the vision of Rick. Doing it to the T, the original choreography. Well, I've actually updated it. We still use some of Marley's, but I've re-choreographed, updated it a little bit. Yes. That was a little bit of my department in the group, so I updated the choreography a little bit. Sherry's in charge of vocals, and then we have our wonderful manager, road manager, Seth, and he's our everything. He's the videographer, the hairstylist, the makeup artist. He even gets into this choreography. He is our everything. He is just an amazing. And his mother was Melia Franklin from the original Brides of Frankenstein.
Oh, okay.
So he he knows all about girl groups. And
Yes, he
how
does.
he got in the fold was actually he had started a video magazine at one time when I came in. I was doing cooking segments for it called Grown People's Biz, which is no longer in existence, but we became very acquainted then. And then he knew I was passionate about trying to put the group back together. And so I reached out and put the olive branch out to everybody, and to no avail. Sherry finally decided to come out here from Oregon. We brought her out here, and she decided, you know, she still wanted to go out there. So I want to keep Rick's legacy alive, and you know, the way he wanted to with when you go to see New Edition and you go to see Backstreet Boys, you see the original choreography and the look and everything. So
Right.
some of the girls didn't want to do that, or they weren't able to. So I have to stick true. I'm really trying to stay true to Rick's vision and make him proud. I'm trying to bring the legacy to a lustreful place.
So how do we get in contact with you via social
Oh, well,
media?
I'm, Maxi Bond on Facebook. I'm on the Powder Puff Cookie Shop on Facebook. Sweet Mary Jane's is, I'm moving into edibles.
Okay.
Cannabis edibles now for healing.
Yes.
Yes.
What's the name of that company?
Healing.
Sweet Mary Jane's Gourmet Edibles by Maxi B. And it may change to Maxi B's Gourmet Edibles, just to brand.
Now,
the
where
name.
do people get that? Can they get them at their local medicinal shops? Or
Not at this point. No, we're
Okay.
still with the law just changed in January. So, in state of California, we're still working on getting licensings here, and we're still getting licensed kitchens and things of that nature. But there are other states where I can do this right now and do CBD because it can still be shipped across state lines. THC cookies, however, have to be in each and every state. You have to have a license in each and every state. So.
Okay. Well, it looks like it's about that time, guys. It's a time for our Dusty of the Week. We call it the Dusty of the Week because it's one of those vinyl records that you have to go down in your grandmother's basement.
Oh, I love that.
Blow off the dust in the crate.
Fill in the scratches. And
Fill in the scratches.
Hope it doesn't skip.
Yeah. Well, I had that.
Put a little wax on it.
So our Dusty tonight is brought to you by Sweet Events, and they are also one of our sponsors. Sweet Events, spelled S-U-I-T-E, not to be confused with Sweet Mary Jane. And the Dusty of the Week is from the Shirelles.
All right, Shirelles.
Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow? This is one of my favorites.
Tonight you're mine completely. You give your love so sweetly. Tonight the light of love is in your eyes. But will you love me tomorrow? Shine, shine.
And that Dusty was brought to you by Sweet Events, the
Sweet.
Shirelles. Will you still love me tomorrow?
Tonight's okay, but tomorrow's questionable.
Yes.
And if you hear the team smacking,
Oh, yeah.
we are eating the Powerpuff cookies, lemon, organic citrus cookies by Miss Maxi Bond.
And phonetically incorrect, they be good.
They be real good. It's cracked.
It is cracked, definitely cracked.
Oh, yeah.
They are very, very,
like
very
you're having
good.
sex in here.
There you go.
So we wanted to thank you formally for coming on our show and being a great sport about it.
And I want to thank you for having me. And I want to say hi to my Stone City family, to my Mary Jane Girl sisters, whether you love me or not. I want to say hello to Processing the Do-Rags.
Hey.
And the whole organization, Rick's family. And, it's been many, many years. And I love everybody dearly. And thank you all
As you
Facebook
should.
fans for listening in. And all my homeboys in Pittsburgh, I love you.
Yeah.
The Berg, baby.
Right.
Berg.
Not to be
As we
confused
call
with
it,
the Hill.
6 Berg. Six championships.
Keep it funky and peace. Peace in Pittsburgh, y'all. I don't want to hear about no gangs. Y'all get off the streets down there.
Now,
right.
what's some of the best advice you were given in the industry over the whole time that you've been in it?
Oprah Winfrey at the American Music Awards. I was slipped a piece of paper. We were all slipped. It was a
Slipping.
sign a power of attorney, and I like, Candy, what's a power of attorney? And Oprah Winfrey tapped me on the shoulder and she said, do you know what power of attorney is? And I said, no. She said, that means you're giving up all your money, all your rights for everything. And she says, I'm going to give you the same advice that Bill Cosby gave me. Don't sign that.
Yeah.
And that was the best advice I ever got.
There you go.
Yeah, a lot
From
of celebrities
Oprah,
make
Thank
that
you,
mistake.
Oprah.
A lot
That's
of
why
celebrities
everybody
make that
loves you.
mistake.
You're real.
That's right.
Signing over that power of attorney to the business managers.
That's right.
They'll try to trick you in this industry, so people be
here's
careful.
a paper. Here's a little
Yeah,
piece
if
of
you're
paper.
new in this industry, any paper that's given to you, make sure a lawyer looks it over. Your
So-
parents, somebody.
Maxi-
Somebody knows somebody who can help you with that paper.
Are you implying that people might lie to you?
You
In
couldn't
this
possibly be saying
Couldn't you
that.
count?
in the
Come
music-
on.
not
In
not in this
entertainment.
industry.
In the
Absolutely
entertainment,
not.
yes, indeed.
Oh my gosh!
Yes,
Thank you for the revelation. I did not know that they lie.
Now, can you give your website for the cookies and for your business?
Yeah, the
again?
Powder Puff Cookie Shop or Maxi Bond, Miss Maxi B. You can maybe find Miss Mary Jane Girls, and there's the links to everything. If you look up Maxi B from the Mary Jane Girls, you'll find me somewhere in there. And if you want to order cookies, I ship them.
There you go.
Well, we have come to the
Yeah,
time
those-
of the
those
evening.
lemon-
They're
Yeah,
good.
those lemon cookies.
Those cookies are amazing.
Well, I have 32 varieties. So my
I can
my
see these at
biggest sell-
Starbucks.
Yeah, my biggest seller is my pecan turtle dove, which is a southern pecan cookie with milk chocolate, vanilla, sea salt caramel. My Aloha Dream, which is coconut macadamia with dark chocolate and Kahlua. I do maple walnut bacon to red and black velvet.
Uh-oh, she giving the Girl Scout cookies a run for
Hey,
their money.
any oatmeal cookies in
Oh
that?
yeah, no,
You can
those
get
are
hers year
Let me
round,
tell you
too.
something. I really get disturbed because Girl Scout cookies, it's a great little way for them to make money and for their foundation, and I appreciate that, but you're eating garbage. They're produced by Kellogg's. They're just ground up cereal dipped in chocolate. They're produced by Kellogg's. Look at your box.
Oh.
Yeah.
Way to ruin a good thing, Maxi
No,
Bond.
I'm sorry. I do like the Thin Mints. I like the peanut butter and the mint.
But keep it real, though.
Right,
You know,
right.
you
Keep it-
know,
these are organic,
I'm
chemical
looking-
free.
I'm
They're
looking-
all handmade with a wooden spoon
He's
and bowl,
looking now.
hand dipped.
I'm looking you up, man. I'm looking at the cookies and the milk. I'm
Lord
like, you
have mercy.
dipping in. Look at
Yes,
this.
Maxi,
they're all
Any
hand
oatmeal?
dipped.
Any oatmeal cookies?
I can make oatmeal, but it's not in my line. No, that's a
You gotta
basic
get-
cookie.
you
I'm
got-
doing
you got-
gourmet hand dipped cookies.
Yeah,
We
you
got to
gotta
be a
go-
little
you got-
different.
You gotta have a little gourmet.
You'd like the maple walnut bacon, I think. It's my breakfast cookie. I have Cinnabon. I have, so many kinds.
Okay.
Well, we have come to the end of the show.
I'm so sorry. I had such a good time.
But we wanted to thank you on behalf of DJ DeVoe, DJ Reg, the
I
consultant,
love
Robert
you all.
A., C. Mose in his absence, myself,
Absolutely.
Great
and
Tony.
Your Pittsburgh
Pretty
homeboy.
Tony.
And I had so much fun that I'm going to start listening onto your show
please.
and tell a friend, because this is a really good show. I've been on many radio shows in
Right.
36 years in my career, and this is a really fun one.
And we wanted to present you with this award.
What
the
is
We
this?
Love
Yes.
Awards Award.
Oh my
Yes.
God, that is so
Hey.
cute. Aw,
And
I'm
that's
so
from the
touched.
team, all of us, to thank you for
You
coming
guys
on our
are
show.
lovely, just lovely. Aw.
And we be
And
the-
my name, and aw.
Yeah,
God
turn it
bless
around so
you.
the audience can see.
That
There
is
you
so
go.
sweet.
There you go.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
So
There
make
you
sure it's
go.
not used
Yes.
as a paperweight. You put it on your shelf with your
No,
other
girl.
awards.
All the residue. Yes, exactly.
This will go where the empty spaces where the American Music Awards should have gone.
Right.
The Grammys should have gone.
Right,
But you know
Grammy.
what? There's a lot to come for Maxi B. I'm still hoping for an Emmy one day. I still want to get on Dancing with the Stars. I'm just hoping in the next, minute or two, I become a little more relevant and people can see that Maxi Bond still got something to give in the entertainment.
Absolutely.
You do, baby.
And you do. And not only that, you can come back here on your next release because you are part of our alumni.
I got to make Pittsburgh proud. And
so you're always welcome back.
And I got to make Rick proud,
Yeah,
that's right.
Rest in peace, baby.
There you go.
So you're always welcome back on our show anytime. If you have any new music, feel free to release it here first.
You're going to make me go do something now.
There you go.
I love to inspire. It's what I do.
And if you guys need cookies, just give me a call.
There you go.
Yeah.
We got to get that number.
Oh, they're definitely going to call you.
We got to get that number.
Thanks again to our listening audience on ubnradiotv.com, Facebook Live, Colleen and the crew. Thank you so much for your dedicated
Hi, Mom.
Hey.
Your dedicated fanship to our show. You can catch us on Instagram. You can catch us on Twitter. And you can catch us on Facebook. We are also on iHeartRadio and Spotify.
We be around, okay?
Yes.
Come see us.
We are live in 52.
There's no excuse not to listen to this show, yeah.
There you
and
go.
we are live in 52 countries. We want to thank our sponsors, Wings Limousine.
Where
we want
you
to
ride
like a star. Sonny Jones.
Sonny.
Sweet Events. And Beverly Boyd Productions for all your video production needs. Next week we have Take 6. We have 3 original members of the group Take 6.
I want to come.
Yes.
Come on,
come
come
on
on
in.
in. Come on in.
Yeah.
So make sure
Party's
that
on.
you tune in.
Yeah.
And that's it. Did I forget anything else, guys?
Well, I think Reg put together a special video montage of the Mary Jane
If we can
girls,
get it in there.
Yes, we're
real
going to
quick.
slide it in there on the way out as
Yes.
part of our closing credits. And we want to thank Clifton, of course, for keeping the
Thank you,
Groove
Clifton
Studio
from
alive.
Pittsburgh. Isn't he
Yeah.
from Pittsburgh?
He's
from
from
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
All right,
He's in
Clifton
Pittsburgh
from
right now.
Pittsburgh.
And he-
I
he's
wish you
from
could
the
go by and
hills.
see
He's from
my
the
mom.
hill. He might be carrying
Never-
a switchblade or something. We
Nah.
don't know.
They
He
got
never
it
worked
together.
and never
They got
will.
it together. They're
He
making-
but he always has a dollar bill. How is this possible?
Always.
he comes from a rough neighborhood, but
Yeah,
I'm
there you
sure
go.
he's keeping the peace out
He
there.
shot his way in and out of the neighborhood.
So thank you all so much, and we'll catch you next week on
And I
another.
just want to say thank you because they were reading to me some of these wonderful comments. I'm just so touched.
Yes.
Comments that everyone from Facebook is writing. And oh my
Yes.
God, I love you guys so much. Thank you. I'm just so touched. Really.
That's
Aw.
right. That's
So
right.
we'll see you again
Again,
on
We Love Rare Groove.
Check out the video.
Check
Good
this
night.
video
Check
out.
this video out, you guys. Stay on.